So I'm going to be unboxing, using, and reviewing the 8-inch Rand McNally TND tablet truck GPS. Let's go. Let's get right to it. Open it up. Got us a quick start guide. Might look into that just to give you a screen protector. Nice. That's good. Alright. Let's look at the unit itself here. Try not to tear anything in case I need to take it back for any reason. Oh. There goes that idea. Whoops. Oh well. Sorry. Just need to get that out of here. Alright. Nice. It feels nice and sturdy. It's got a really good feel to it. Feels like a glass screen. Got the see if I can get a better view of this for you guys. Got the magnetic mount. There's the dash cam. Unfortunately, it is fixed, so you're gonna have to position the actual unit the direction that you want if you're going to use the dash cam. HDMI port, USB port, micro SD, and headphone port. Looks like, come on, focus. Here, try to, there we go. Alright, come on. Come on, baby. Sorry. I don't know why. There we go. Okay, so we got a power button and the volume rocker and a reset. Alright. And look like there's a physical home button here. I don't know if you can hear it clicking, but that's a physical home button. Alright. So let's peel this off and do an initial startup. It's a little stickier than I thought. Stick that on here. It's a static cling sticker, so there's no residue left, which is great. Alright, so we got the screen protector put on it. Unfortunately, it didn't come with one of those nice soft cloths that phone screen protectors do, so I wasn't able to get it fully clean of all the little dirt. That's why you see all these little bubbles, and I tried to take a card and spread them out, but they're not air bubbles, they're actually the little pieces of dust, unfortunately. But screen protector's on there, so let's see what else is in the box here. Alright, looks like a wall charger. A cigarette lighter charger or 12-volt plug charger. USB cable. USB to micro USB. Type C maybe? I'm not 100% sure. But this is, come on, there we go. Alright, that's the mount that goes to the suction cup side, and that is the magnetic charger side for the tablet. You can see the charging pins and the magnets here. And and the suction mounts. All right. And looks like about it. Yep, that's it. All right, let's go ahead and start her up here, hopefully. There we go. Alright, I did purchase this at a Love's truck stop near Cartersville, Georgia. Not that that matters because of the same price everywhere. This was $4.49. Came out to $4.80 and some change after tax. And it does have a $30 rebate that takes 6 to 10 weeks to redeem. So that's nice, but disappointing that it takes so long. So set up your tablet. Yep, go ahead and agree with all that nobody ever reads. Alright, ask you to connect to the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna skip that for now. Oh, that's it. Nice. Oh, there you go. That was quick. Well, looks like the app tray has all the apps. Alright, here's a couple minute view of the real-time full map. What it looks like.
Continue on this road for 25 miles.
As you can see.
2 miles, slide right on I-285 by west, I-285 by east.
Alright, here's a live view here. See what it looks like when you're navigating here. There's 6 lanes of traffic. Tells me I gotta be in the right 2. So here we are. I've had a chance to use this thing for a little bit. Let me show you before we get into anything. Right there. You can see I've used this for a little over 4,600 miles, 128 hours. This is a nice little tool here. Let you know sunrise, sunset, compass. If you currently have a trip programmed, it'll tell you how far along you are on that trip. Your average speed, how many hours of that total time was moving, how was it stopped, your average moving speed, your max speed, and you can have 3 different odometers going at the same time if you wanted to. All right, so this was probably used on, my gosh, I don't know, 10 to 15 different stops. So let's start here by choosing a location here. So just for demonstration purposes, obviously you can go to a specific address if you have one, but just to show everything, I'm going to go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania here. Now when you start a route, it's going to ask you these questions here. Do you just want to allow the GPS to pick its own route for you, or do you want to compare different routes based on your preferences and which direction you want to go, or do you just want to go ahead and save it to the address book? So I always like to compare routes, and I always choose based on my preferences versus the toll versus non-toll, because as a truck driver whose company pays for the tolls, and typically toll roads are a little bit quicker, so I don't opt out of paying tolls on my route. So I personally never use that option. So let's choose that. It's gonna quickly calculate 2 different routes for you, and up here it'll summarize those. So this blue route is going to be 431 miles, going to take 7 hours 19 minutes, and there's no tolls on that route. And it'll show you an overview, and you can scroll in if you want and look a little bit closer, see where it goes. Or you have the option of taking the green route, which looks like the scenic route on this option. Quite a bit longer, a lot longer time wise, still no tolls. So we're going to take the shorter route. Just tap on it. It's going to come up pretty quick. Now I am in a hotel room, so that's why it's saying no GPS, no signal here, but it still gives you all the ideas and functionalities of what it's going to do for you. So you're looking at this going down the screen, going down the road, and I already went through and verbally told you what all these things were, but now that I'm stopped and I'm not driving, let's look at them here. So if you tap in this box here, that's going to show you a picture of your next turn or interchange or whatever. So if you're going down the highway and there's an exit coming up, you can just tap on that button. It'll preview, if it's a right exit, is it going to be, do you need to be in the right most lane, the 2 most right lanes, the 3 most right lanes, or whatever. So it'll tell you that, which is really nice. That isn't a tappable button, but that tells you what your next turn is going to be. This, if you tap on that, you have those different options. I always keep it on remaining time, just because it shows you the mileage and the hours and minutes until you arrive. Now this button here, that's going to tell you your upcoming exits. Now if you want to stop in 40 miles or 45 minutes or whatever, you can click on this exit 51 here, and well, that wasn't a good, so let's say 12 miles. Okay, alright, so you tap on that, and then it's going to list everything that is located on that exit for you. So that's really, really nice. So that's all. You can further cut it down to just the fuel places. If it's a food stop, if you're stopping for the night at a hotel, this particular exit does not have any hotels. But then if you wanted to do that, say you wanted to go to Subway, you just click on that, and then add as via, and then add to start, and then that will be your next stop. Okay, so we're going to add to start, and there you go. And it's going to take you right to that Subway. It's only going to be 12 miles, 12 minutes. Okay. Now, if you want to see your next upcoming 5 turns, now this only has 4 turns to get to Subway, but it'll give you up to 5 turns to look at there. So that's nice too. And you can zoom in and out. You can see, you can just drag over to see where that Subway is. You can zoom in on that, so you're going to go off the exit to the right and make a right, and the Subway is going to be on your right there. Okay, so there you go. All right, that's your time. Now, before I get into that button, I'm gonna go through the rest of this here. Now this is the current direction that you're traveling, north, south, east, west, or what have you. Now if you're on the highway or interstate and you have mile markers corresponding on that interstate, that's going to show up right here in a nice green box. It'll say mile whatever 100. Okay, now this little bar here, it's changeable. Right now it's telling you the town, I think the county and the state. If you tap on that, it'll tell you what road you're currently on. Tap on it again, and again, because I'm not driving, it's not picking up the next road. But that third option, like if you're going through a town, it will tell you what the upcoming road name is, and it'll be right there. So you can quickly scroll through all three of those if you want, and it's really fast. Okay, and then the mile per hour, it'll have the speed limit up there, and then your current miles per hour. You can have it set to where it notifies you if you go 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. It'll audibly tell you that you're it's a speed warning, and that'll turn red, and then you'll slow down until you are within that parameter. Let's see, so let's go in here. So let's say you're driving down the road, you're in a big rig truck, and you want to stop at a Love's. You just click on that box. Let's go choose destination, points of interest along my route, and I'm going to choose quick stops. And I prefer Love's, so I'm going to choose a Love's, and it's going to list all the Love's that are along your route, and it'll list them here, and it'll tell you you know, the town and the state that you're in. It'll tell you the number of the Love's, or Pilot or TA or whatever, like Love's number 316, because sometimes you could search them by the number. And then you just click on that, and then again add to via, then add to start, and boom, it'll take you right to it. Really super simple. But you also have the choices of Walmarts, Pilots, Flying J's, TAs. So let's go back here to the start where I click that. So you can also click on that, you know, choose destination. If you knew a specific address that you wanted to go to instead of just a truck stop, you can add a new location. If you have a pre-saved stop in here, you can go to the address book and you can punch in any of your saved addresses here. Now this is a great option, or a feature of Rand McNally versus Garmin that I noticed. In these saved addresses, you can also create groups. So you can see that the places I've been, you know, the places I've delivered and picked up the beer, and then you can just, you know, it's all nice and organized. And that's the kind of guy and thinker I am, is, you know, I love organization. So you can just see here all these different places. Okay. You can also go to history. If you know you've been somewhere recently, you can just go through the history there and add that. Alright, so let's go back to map. Okay, so did everything else. This button here, if you have your phone connected, or if you have Wi-Fi while you're traveling down the road, this can give you the live traffic update. I didn't particularly like this because it's not, at least I couldn't figure it out 100%, meaning the traffic isn't automatically overlaid on the map. You have to click on that button, go in here and click on traffic on route or traffic list, and then it'll tell you any slowdowns or accidents or anything like that. But as you're traveling down the road, it's not going to give you a heads up that there's traffic coming up. At least that's not what my experience was. Maybe I didn't have an option turned on to do that, but I could not find a way to do that. Okay, so that's that. Go into settings here. You know, if you wanted to, say you program the subway and you decided not to go to subway, so instead of going into and deleting that address and rerouting, blah blah blah, all that jazz, you can just simply click on that, skip that next step. It'll quickly recalculate to your original destination. Okay, or oops, no, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so so say you're at your destination and you want to save that address. Go in there, save current location, and that's what I accidentally hit there. You can rename it, whatever, Clear Hotel. Enter, it's been saved, and then it'll be in that saved address part. Okay, say you're at a point on your route where you no longer need GPS and you just want to cancel the route. You just go ahead and cancel that, and it'll turn everything off. Okay, pretty good. Let's see. And this little button here, if you like simplicity on your screen, you can just tap that. It'll get rid of all that other jazz. And then you quickly bring it back up. All right. You know, if you're in an area where you know, let's say so I know I don't want to go on this interchange or this intersection right here. You can just click permanently avoid. You can permanently avoid that little route there, that specific road, or you can avoid an area. So I'm going to avoid an area, and then I'm not sure if you can see it, but it adds that little pink box to it. So I'm just going to hit save here and then enter that name, say no go, whatever. And now that's going to be saved. Okay. And that pink box will remain there. So if you ever come upon it, it's number one, it's not going to route you through that area, and it'll always be there. So in the future, if you thinking about going that way, you'll see that you have put that permanent avoid on there. Okay, so that's pretty neat. Now, one other thing, well, let's see here. The atlas. This is just like the paper atlas. That's all the further you can zoom in on it. It's a nice feature, I guess, to have, but it's not like having the actual atlas. The atlas itself has a lot more features than this does. There's a legend, if you can read that. That's the same exact legend that's in the real atlas, and you can search by state here. So let's go down here to Western Pennsylvania. It'll zoom into Western Pennsylvania there. But that's all the further it really goes. I mean, that's pretty much it. Let's see, there was a... Let's see if I can remember this. Oops. Yeah, so that's it. One thing I would like to see on that atlas is, because in the front of the real atlas, it's broken down by state, and it'll have restricted routes and roads and low bridges listed there in the front of the atlas, and I wish this had that, but it does not. Okay, let's quickly look at the dash cam here. It does look pretty good. It's connected to a power source, so I don't want to yank it around too much. But the clarity's pretty good. It does record audio as well, and I think you can save quite a bit. I think there's 14 gigs of storage on here, so you can save quite a few videos there. Fuel manager, this is going to be for your owner operators that are wanting to track it. I don't have a need for that, so I didn't set up an account, so I didn't worry about that. This trip maker, it's a really nice feature. I'm going to try to go through this real quick with you, but you do need to be connected to a Wi-Fi source. This does not run off a GPS to create the trip. So let's create a trip here. Let's say we're going to start here in Cartersville, Georgia. Okay. And I want to go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we're going to name this vacation. Okay, we'll go ahead and create that trip. If it has any questions, it'll ask you the direction. So let's just go to plain old Pittsburgh city center, and let's create that trip. All right, so that initial calculation is really quick. You can see 666 miles, going to take roughly 10.5 hours. And you go into the settings and set up what your gas mileage is and the current price of gas, and it'll estimate the price of gas or fuel for you. Okay, so let's say I want to add, let's say we want to go to, I don't know why anybody would right now, but let's go to the White House. Okay, it's going to ask you here, White House, Washington, D.C. Is that the correct one? Yep, so we'll add it to the trip. And see what happens here. It's taking a while because it's really contemplating, do you really want to go to Washington, D.C.? Well, as you can see, it's, if you add more than one stop, it's kind of confusing itself maybe. Let's change this. Let's delete that. And let's go to Ruby Falls. I know that's in Chattanooga. Okay, is that it? Yep, that's it. So let's add that to the trip. See if that... Oh, wow. So that was quick. So it just must not like Washington, D.C. So as you can see there, it added it to the trip, updated the miles, the time, and the fuel. Now I think you can... Yeah, if you long press on the numbers, you can reorder. You can reorder the trip. So now I'm starting in Cartersville, I'm going to Pittsburgh, and then on the way back, I'm stopping at Ruby Falls. And then you can see it updated the information there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Nice little feature. I wouldn't use that on a daily GPS function, but I guess if you're planning a family trip or whatever, that might be a nice feature. And then you have the tablet functionality of the unit. So you do have the Play Store, where if you have an account, you can sign into that, download some apps, games, whatever. It is a fully functional tablet, albeit a pretty slow one. So I wouldn't use this as a daily tablet personally, but you do have your web browser. See how long it takes to come up there. I mean, I wouldn't. That's pretty slow in today's standards. But Rand McNally has their own market. I didn't go into there. I didn't try to download anything or see what else is in there. But for drivers and fleets, and all this stuff, guys, is for most of the stuff is for owner operators. Your Driver Connect, e-logs, Fuel Manager, Truck It Smart, I believe, is like a load board, and then Profit, that's a business manager tool for owner operators. GPS predictive. Well, there you go. That's probably why it didn't work for me, because I didn't have this app downloaded. But I would go ahead and download this and see if that would give me the predictive traffic, or traffic everywhere. So there's that. Apps for RV. If you wanted to buy this if you were an RV, there's a couple different apps for that. Alright, it already comes preloaded with the owner operator tools downloaded, so that Profit Gauges and Truck It Smart, they both need accounts to be set up. So again, I'm not an owner operator, so I didn't take the time to set up an account. I'm going to do a settings just like a regular tablet. And it also came preloaded with some web pages and Flickr stuff, I guess. I never use that. And then you go into the app tray, and you have calculator, calendar. Again, just like a phone. Dropbox, Flipboard. That's what that was, not Flickr. If you wanted to connect this to your Google account and have it connected with your phone, you can have your pictures on there, Google Maps, play books, play movies, if you have any of that stuff downloaded. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Overall, alright, so let's wrap this up, give you some pros and some cons on it. So the pros I found on it, it is a really solid unit. It's well built. Nothing about it feels cheap. A lot of people do ask about the magnet and the connectivity between the mount and the unit itself. I found absolutely zero problems with it. America's roads are pretty darn bumpy, especially in a big rig. That cab gets, jumping pretty good. And not once did I even feel that it was going to fall off. It didn't look like it was going to fall off. And there were a couple bumps I'm really, really, really surprised that it didn't. But it held solid. Now, granted, because of some of the magnetic strength reviews that I've read, I set it up at the bottom right corner of my windshield, where the unit itself was literally about that far off the dashboard. So in the event it did fall off, it didn't have far to fall. Because it is an expensive unit, I didn't want it to break. So I did whatever I could to prevent that from happening. But it's nice and solid. The navigation itself was awesome. I love the features of being able to on the go pick the next truck stop and make sure that I'm not going to be in jeopardy of violating my hours of service time by choosing the right area within that time limit. I really like that. I really like all the information on the navigation screen, the upcoming roads, the mile markers, the direction you're heading, and the navigation screen itself, the 3D view. I like that. That was pretty nice. Now there are a couple times well, let's finish the pros here. So the pros, other pros, it has that atlas on it if in the event that you need it, like the GPS for whatever reason stops working and you need to get into that atlas and see different roads, you have that feature. That trip planner was a nice pro. Like I said, I wouldn't use it very often, but it is a pro to have that feature on it. If you're into having a tablet and you need a tablet to play games or watch movies on, that is another pro. I wouldn't be using it for that, but you may. So, cons. During those 4,600 miles, I did have it freeze up on me twice. And a couple times, I think once coming down Interstate 57 and once on Interstate 75, the GPS screen went wacko. I mean, it started just circling and recalculating, and then it would be fine for a minute, and then it would do it again, then it would be fine for another couple minutes, and then do it again. And this is on, it's not like I'm making different turns and confusing it. It's going down an interstate, and it almost acts like you're going off-road, and it confuses itself and has to recalibrate or recalculate. It's weird. Now, it never really happened. It never happened to me when I was in like a city or a town and needed during a turn or close to a turn. It always happened when I was on an interstate. So I don't know why that happened. I don't know what caused it. But that's something to think about. Now, when it froze, all you do is just hold the power button, shut it down, and reboot it. That does take a couple minutes, but once it comes back up, it'll go right back to your destination. It's not like you're going to have to re-input your destination. It'll already have that in its memory. But it is a pain to shut it down and restart it. So God forbid you're in a unfamiliar area, it freezes, and you need to wait that however long, 3, 4, 5 minutes for it to shut down and reboot, and now you don't know which way to go. So as a truck driver, that's, you should always know ahead of time where you need to go, have a vague idea as how to get there, and not solely rely on these GPSs just for that reason. All right. But that's really my only con. Everything else was great about it. So yeah, I mean, it's a little pricey, but for a trucking GPS, and that's the norm. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of different trucking videos here in the future. I'm going to be getting, a whole bunch of different stuff. So, if you could, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. Comment box below. Other than that, until next time, stay safe, keep them rolling. See ya.
Like, subscribe, and get them notifications.